Hey everybody, I'm Captnzap. Welcome to the video, and today we are not gonna build this massive mob farm. Our machine is... That's right, we made a Basalt generating flying machine that builds general mob farms. Yeah, let's go! The happiest part about this whole thing is my ultimate laziness can be fully realized. Let's form this generator step by step. First, we're going to need a piston that pushes the freshly created basalt into the line where it can be shaped. These glass blocks are going to be later replaced with an observer clock, and the sticky piston there helps push the basalt after it gets created by the blue ice and the soul soil. Here we have the lifting observer and piston. This is what's going to cause the machine to lift after it has finished creating the entire cycle that it has been designed to create. Now we want to keep adding observers and sticky pistons to keep these machines pulling up together. We're going to be adding a piston here that gets activated by this observer when the previous machine lifts. Let's toss in some soul soil and blue ice, and then we're going to move up to the top where we get the dispenser going. We're going to start this section with an observer here, and this observer is going to fire on the dispenser, but also activate a sticky piston to help pull up the bottom side of the machine. This observer is going to be used to reactivate the dispenser after it's lifted, and also as an off and on switch so that we can stop the generator if we want to. This part here is an addition on my previous generator, and this is where we're going to be creating the floor for the mob farm. You need to add a piston here, and I'll explain this later, but this is vital to getting the machine to not just push past completing the entire cycle. We're going to be adding some glazed terracotta here, and this is a safety precaution in case this piston is delayed in lifting with the rest of the generator. Now we need this piston to be activated so that we don't get this generator lifting until we're absolutely ready. Let's go start up the observer clock so that we can get the pistons firing to create the basalt. I didn't notice it here, but I am missing one piece of slime block connecting the lifting piston to the pulling piston, which you'll see later because it breaks. Now let's start the piston shapers, and this is going to be an observer reading the line of basalt into a sticky block, and then a sticky piston connected to that, and this system keeps up with this generator completely, and I call that a semi-automatic system, whereas the generator is running on a fully automatic system. Those two definitions matter because that's why we need that piston blocking the generator, because the lifting observer detects basalt coming out of the generator when it's done filling the entire layer. But if we have automatic pushers involved, it can jam it and cause that to push premature. So we blocked that until we finished all of the fully automatic systems because the semi-automatic can be trusted. This machine is just my updated log brakes, and this controls the power to that piston so that the generator cannot lift until it's completed the cycle activating this machine right here. Let's add the rest of the piston shapers, and then we're going to add the other half to the floor shaper, and then we'll get this machine going up. Now we're going to add the lifting mechanisms to the piston shapers so that they can continue to climb with the generator, adding each layer as we need it.
This machine here pulls up the pieces that move past that wall, because that wall is actually 11 blocks from the pistons, so it will push one more block past. This just makes the wall look a little cleaner. We're going to add a sticky piston here that pulls up 4 pistons that build the other half of the floor. Alright, let's get these machines pushing basalt so we can get the generator to start lifting and build the timer for the floor. And everything pulls together, so this is working perfect. But we do want to make sure we space this out properly so that we get the floor being made every 3 blocks. So we have 2 blocks of air to spawn mobs. Now, you can make that longer if you want to make taller rooms, say for living rooms. But for this machine, it's going to be a mob farm. Alright, let's start the timer for the floor in the mob farm. First, we need to install this piston here that pulls up the mechanism that activates the flying machine that's carrying the observer clock that fires these pistons continuously until the entire floor is made. So we're just going to add flying machines underneath these observer clocks and then have them activated by the piston shaper that's on the right side of the generator so that we can time this to lift after 3 blocks. Okay, let's add the observer that actually activates this flying machine so that we can get these observer clocks into place in the correct timing. You want to make sure that you stop these machines before they push past the floor pistons. So I've measured it out that the slime blocks will stop the honey from going any further than that. And just like that, we have a floor building mechanism. Set it so this flying machine will activate that observer 3 blocks below, and this generator is completely done. While this machine builds the mob farm, let's go and build the moss farm. Because we're gonna need a lot of scaffolding. So the bone meal we'll be able to use to automatically generate it. Okay, with the poor man's moss farm built, we'll be able to get enough scaffolding to fill all these layers.
It's also a good idea to put the scaffolding as the machine is building, because then you have a lot of daylight to work with. I'm adding a pretty rudimentary trident killer here, and I don't recommend building it like this, but I'm just kind of putting this in to represent what you can put at the bottom of the machine. But really, fall damage would do just as well, but this is what I put in this one. Well, that's it for this video, and if you're as lazy as I am, this is gonna be very handy. Bye!